Hi, it's John Vu, and this lesson is on Jump by Van Halen from Trinity Rock and Pop Drums Grade 4. So looking at the sheet music in the book, you've got the song title at the top of the page, and above the song title it says Technical Focus. So this is one of the technical focus pieces in Grade 4. Okay, so there's a couple of technical elements you need to make sure you bring into the piece. Then beneath the song title it says suggested kit setup to include 2 crash cymbals. Okay, so you really want to have 2 crash cymbals to play this song to its full effect. Okay, beneath that you've got intro in a box, so the first section of the song is the intro, and beneath that you've got the style or genre of the piece, and it says 80s rock. Okay, so this is rock from the 1980s, where they kind of brought in some more synthetic sounds. Okay, so you'll hear the synthesizer in this piece. And then beside the style there, it says a quarter note equals 126. That's the tempo of the piece. So it's going to be 126 quarter note beats per minute. Okay, so a sort of medium pushing fast tempo. Okay, then beside that it says 2 bars counting. So that's just letting you know when you play this with a backing track, there's going to be 2 bars of counting before the track starts. So looking at the first bar of music, you can see we've got the percussion clef there. So we've got drum notation on the stave, and then beside that we've got the time signature. So this piece is in 4/4. So the 4 at the top tells you there's 4 beats in the bar. The 4 at the bottom tells you the note value of the beat is a quarter note. So we've got 4 quarter note beats in the bar, and then in that first bar we've got a multi-bar rest. There's a number 3 above the multi-bar rest, which tells us we need to rest for 3 bars. Okay, so we just rest for those first 3 bars, and then in the 4th bar, which is the next bar, we've got a half note rest, which means we rest for the 1 and the 2. And then there's a quarter note rest, which means we rest for the 3. There's an 8th note rest, which means we rest for the downbeat of 4. And then we come in on the upbeat of 4, that and of 4, with the crash cymbal and bass drum in unison. Okay, now because that crash cymbal's on the upbeat, I like to play it with the left hand. Okay, so if you've got 2 crashes set up, 1 on each side of the kit, play that and of 4, left hand, left side of the kit. Okay, and bass drum in unison with it as well. And beneath the bar you've got an F, which is short for forte, which means loud. So we need to come in loud with that crash cymbal on the upbeat of the 4th bar. And then into bar 5 you've got 2 more crash cymbals as 8th notes on the 1, and then another crash cymbal on the downbeat of 2 for a quarter note. Okay, and those 3 crashes are also played with the bass drum in unison. Right, so for that bar, I like to play right hand on the downbeat of 1, left hand on the upbeat of 1, right hand on the downbeat of 2. Okay, so I'm playing downbeats right hand, which is my lead hand, upbeats left hand. Okay, so you've got 4 crashes there, coming in on the 4th bar, on the and of 4, so the rhythm is and 1 and 2. Okay, so we come in on the and left hand, 1 comes across to the right, and of 1 left, right plays the downbeat of 2. So counting from the 4th bar, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so and 1 and 2 for those crashes. Then you rest for the rest of that 5th bar. So you've got half note rest for beats 3 and 4. And then we've got another multi-bar rest, okay, which is bar 6. And we've got number 2 above it. So we rest for 2 bars there, which will be bars 6 and 7. Okay, so a 2-bar rest. And then we're coming in bar 8 with a fill. So in bar 8, we've got an 8th note rest and a downbeat of 1. And then we've got 2 16th notes on the upbeat. So we're coming in on the and of 1. So we've got right, left on high tom. Then another right on the downbeat of 2 as an 8th note. Then we've got 2 16th notes on the medium tom. Okay, on the and of 2, so that'd be and a. And then we've got 2 more 8th notes on the medium tom, so that'd be 3 and then we've got a flam on the 4 for a quarter note, okay, which would be the 4, just the 4. Okay, so we've got and a 2 on high tom, and a 3 and on medium tom, and then 4 on the snare, okay, as a flam. So that bar, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I play a single stroke, so right, left, right on high tom, right, left on medium tom, and you come down and play either a right or left flam on the snare drum. Okay, so that completes the first line, which is the intro. Okay, you can see a double bar line there at the end of the intro, at the end of bar 8, which means we've got a musical change. Okay, so we're going to put that whole intro together now. So for that top line, so just make sure you're resting for the right amount of bars and you're coming in at the right point. Okay, so those crashes, remember, start on the upbeat of 4. So they come in a little bit earlier than expected, and make sure you come in at forte. Make sure they're really clean, okay? They're right in unison, the crash cymbals and bass drum notes for all 4 of those notes, and in a nice clean feel, okay? So 2/16, 8th note, 2/16, 2 8th notes, and then flam. Okay, so let's try that top line, the intro. Let's put it together at the song tempo, 126 beats per minute. Okay, so stay on top of the tempo as well. It's quite fast, so don't fall behind. Stay right on that tempo from the get-go. Okay, so let's try the intro. And now we'll try the intro in time with the backing track. Okay, so make sure those crash hits are right in time because they line up with the music. Okay, so they have to be really clean. And then that fill at the end of the intro really rolls into the next section nicely. So you need to make sure that feels really clean. You're rolling off those toms, hitting those notes in the right places. Okay, so let's try the intro in time with the backing track. So now we come into line 2, which starts at bar 9. So you can see we've got verse there in a box, so we're on to the verse now. The first verse, and we've just got a 1 bar groove for the verse. We've got 8th notes on the hi-hat, and the bass and snare drum rhythm is 8th notes on the 1 on the bass drum, snare playing the backbeat on 2 for a quarter note, 8th notes on the bass drum for the 3, snare playing a quarter note on the backbeat at 4. Okay, so just a nice straightforward 8th note groove. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and you've got a crash there on the 1, the downbeat of 1, which will accentuate the start of the groove and the start of the verse, okay? Then we've got a few 1 bar repeats for the rest of that line. So we've got 7 1 bar repeats. We play that groove 8 times. And remember, we don't include the crash for the repeated bars. Okay, that crash is accentuating the start of the verse, so we don't need it every single bar. Okay, you can see the number 4 there in brackets above the 4th time we're playing the groove, and also the number 8 there in brackets above the 8th time we're playing the groove. That's because, remember, we fill those 4 bars because we're playing 4 bar phrases a lot. So rather than looking at every single repeat bar, okay, sort of following it through like that, you can see a number 4 there, so you know, okay, I'm going to play the groove. I'm not going to look at every repeat, but when I can feel I'm on the 4th time of playing the groove, I can look at the music and know where I am. Then you see a number 8 there, and then you can you've got the confidence to feel, okay, I can come away from looking at the music. I can just play the groove, concentrate on how the groove sounds, and then when I feel that 8th bar, I can look at the music again and know exactly where I am. Okay, so they're really helpful, those numbers in brackets, when we got a lot of repeats, okay, because we don't really want to be following every single bar, because then it takes our attention away from the groove and the feel of the music, and sort of just makes us play notes like a robot. Okay, so if we're just reading all the time, like I say, you just lack that feel, which gives the groove gives it the feel, right? Which carries the music and everyone feels that. Okay, so if it's got a good feel, it's going to sound better. All right, so coming into the next line of the verse, line 3 of the piece, which starts at bar 17, we've got the same groove, and we're crashing again on the 1 of bar 17 because that's restarting the next phrase. Okay, so we've just played 8 bars, and then we're crashing into the next 8 bars. We've got another 6 1 bar repeats there from bar 18, so we play that groove another 6 times. Okay, remember not to repeat the crashes on the repeats. You can see the number 4 there again, just above the 4th time we're playing the groove, and then we play it for another 3 times after that 4th time playing the groove there, and then in the 8th bar of that line we've got a change up, so you're playing the groove for 3 beats, and then we just got a 1 beat fill on the snare drum playing 40 and. Okay, so that final bar of that line, bar 24, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Just right, left, right on the snare drum. Okay, so you've got a 16 bar verse there, so that brings us to the end of the verse, that one beat fill. See a double bar line there, let you know there's a musical change coming. Okay, so we've got a 16 bar verse, we've got a 1 bar groove there that we're playing for 15 bars. Okay, so we're crashing on the first bar of those 15, then we're crashing on the 9th bar of the 15, and then we've got a little one beat fill in bar 16. Okay, so you're actually playing the groove for all 16 bars, but we've just got that little change up at the end of the 16 bars. Okay, so really hold a solid groove. Remember, the tempo is quite fast, so although it's a simple groove, you need to make sure you're right on the tempo. Okay, keep it clean and in time, consistent tempo, so no speeding up and slowing down. You want to stay on the tempo from the get-go and just stay there. Okay, and a nice clean fill to finish the verse. So let's try playing that whole verse now. And now we'll try the verse in time with a backing track. Okay, so this is the verse. We've just got a groove to hold for this verse. Okay, so keep it solid. That's our job in this section of the song. Okay, so we don't need to do anything fancy. We just need to play a solid, consistent groove and give it some feel. Okay, stay on the tempo as well. Keep it consistent. So let's try the verse in time with a backing track.
I get up. Nothing gets me down. You got it tough. I seen the toughest around. And I know, baby, just how you feel. You got to roll with the punches and get to what's real. Can't you see me standing here?
So now we come into the next section, which is the pre-chorus, which starts at bar 25. So in this section, we've got a syncopated groove, so it really changes up from what we've played in the verse. So remember, syncopation just means we're playing a rhythm with unexpected notes, okay, which interrupts the flow of the music. So the notes are in more unexpected places. Okay, so we've got in the first bar of the pre-chorus, bar 25, we've got quarter notes on the ride bell. Okay, so we've got that constant rhythm with the right hand for that bar, and then we've got a bass drum on the 1, snare drum on the 2, bass drum on the end of 2, snare drum on the end of 3, bass drum on the 4. Okay, so you haven't got that usual backbeat, that 2 and 4. Okay, you've got first one on the 2, that snare drum on the 2, and the next one's playing that and of 3. Okay, so it's in an unexpected place, it's syncopated. So that first bar, bar 25, sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that links to the next bar, so it's a 2-bar groove. And then in the next bar, bar 26, the ride bell changes up. So we still got quarter notes on the 1 and the 2, but then on the 3rd beat, we've got 8th notes, okay? And on the 4th beat, we've just got the 8th note upbeat, so we're just playing that and. So the ride bell rhythm becomes 1, 2, 3, and. So. Okay, so we get a nice syncopated rhythm, and then the snare and bass drum rhythm, we got a snare on a downbeat of 1, bass drum on the upbeat of 1, snare drum on the upbeat of 2, 2 8th notes on the 3 on the bass drum, and then we got a snare on the 4 for an 8th note, bass drum on the and of 4. Okay, so that first half of the bar there in bar 26, so that snare on 1 and the and of 2, so again syncopated snare rhythm there, bass drum playing that and of 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in that second half, it kind of lines up nicely because you're playing the ride bell with the bass drum and snare on its own on the 4. So you've got 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that second half is 1, 2. Okay, so putting those two halves together to play the whole of bar 26, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so you want to get that down. So because there's notes in unexpected places, you might need to take that nice and slow and just make sure you can feel where all the notes go, get used to the sound and the feel of the groove, and then increase the tempo. Once you got the bars individually, those two bars, bars 25 and 26, you want to put them together to play the 2-bar groove. Okay, so nice and slowly, those 2 bars sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so like I said, get a hold of that. Single bars first, and then put them together. Get that 2-bar groove, get comfortable with that 2-bar groove. And then in the next 2 bars, the rhythm gets a little bit easier. So we crash into bar 27, and we got quarter note crash on one, then we got another quarter note on the ride bell, and then we got a dotted quarter note on the 3 on the ride bell, okay, which is going to last a beat and a half, which will take us to the and of 4, where we got a crash on that and of 4. Okay, so the right hand in that bar, bar 27, is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, bass and snare, you've got a bass on the 1, snare on the 2, so a normal kind of backbeat sound. And then you've got 2 8th notes on the 3, snare drum playing the 4, again, a usual backbeat place. And then that bass drum playing the and of 4, which is going to be in unison with the crash cymbal there. Okay, so it's important to make sure you don't play any cymbal on the downbeat 4. So you want to delay it to play that upbeat of 4 on the crash cymbal. So it's in an unexpected place, that and of 4. It's usually expected on the next downbeat or the previous downbeat. Okay, so it's a syncopated rhythm. So that bar 27 sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you want to play that backbeat of 4 on its own, okay, just like you did in the previous bar as well. And then that final note in that bar, the and of 4, is tied to the downbeat of 1 in the next bar, bar 28, okay? So we don't play that crash and bass drum on the 1 of bar 28 because it's merged with the previous note on the and of 4 that we just played. So the first note that we actually play in bar 28 is the downbeat of 2, where we've got ride bell and snare together, so that normal backbeat. And then we've got another ride bell on the 3, another ride bell on the 4, so just quarter notes in that bar. And we've got 8th notes on the bass drum on 3, snare drum on the snare drum on the 4 for a quarter note. Okay, so normal backbeat in that bar, hitting that 2 and 4 like we did in the previous bar, but there's no syncopation around it. Okay, so we've got that straight kind of rhythm sound in that bar. So that bar, make sure you don't play the 1. Sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so putting those 2 bars together, bars 27 and 28, sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so a nice syncopated sound in bar 27. Okay, so we're going to put the whole line together now. So bars 25 to 28, we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so really nice syncopated sound in that line. And then in the next line, what we got in the first 4 bars of that line is we got that 2-bar groove that we played in bars 27 and 28, played another 2 times. Okay, so bar 29 and 30 is the same as bars 27 and 28, and bars 31 and 32 are also the same as bars 27 and 28. Okay, so you're playing those 2 bars that you played another 2 times, and then we finish that section of the song with a fill. So the fill in bar 33, crash on the 1, that downbeat of 1 with the bass drum in unison, 2/16 on the upbeat of 1 on the high tom, so we got anda played as right left. Then we got another high tom on the downbeat of 2 as an 8th note, so play that with a right. And then we've got a medium tom on the upbeat of 2 as an 8th note, so that and of 2, so I play that with a right hand as well. Then we come down to the floor tom for the downbeat of 3 for an 8th note, so I play that right-handed as well. Then we got a kick on the and of 3, flam on the snare for a quarter note. Okay, so that bar, nice and slow, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so sticking again, crash right hand, right left on high tom, another right on high tom, and then right on medium tom, right on floor tom, kick, flam. So flam, either a right or left lead. Okay, so again, that bar, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's give that line a try now. So bars 29 to 33 sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it doesn't matter which crash you crash on if you have two crashes, so you can just play either left or right side for any of those crashes. So that brings us to the end of the pre-chorus, that syncopated section. So like I said, you want to make sure you get each bar down individually, get the feel of the groove, make sure you can feel where every note goes, okay, so you can really start grooving it. Alright, and then we're going to put that all together to make sure we can flow at the song tempo. Okay, so let's try that now. So the pre-chorus, those two lines, bars 25 to 33. So now we're going to play that section in time with a backing track. Okay, so one of the technical focus elements is rhythmic independence. So this section is syncopated, okay, so it's tricky to play anyway because the rhythm, there's notes in unexpected places and it's interrupting the flow of the music. But also, it's a different rhythm to what the other instruments in the band are playing. Okay, so that's where rhythmic independence comes in. So you need to play this syncopated section independently from the other rhythms that you're hearing the rest of the band play. Okay, so that's the challenge for this section. Okay, it's not only playing the syncopated part, it's playing the syncopated part as a different rhythm to what you're hearing being played by the other musicians. Okay, so you need to make sure you're rock solid with this section to make sure by hearing different rhythms you're not thrown. Okay, so you want to make sure you can play this syncopated section no matter what you're hearing the other instruments play. Okay, they're not going to be playing the same rhythm as you, so it's easy to be thrown if you haven't got this section secure enough. Okay, so you really want to make sure this is secure. Okay, so make sure you've got that skill of rhythmic independence, a very important skill for a drummer. Okay, so don't rush through this piece if you haven't mastered that skill. Okay, make sure you've really got this section nice and tidy because that's what we want to do. Okay, here we want to develop you as a drummer, as a musician, rather than just race you through the grades. Okay, you want to make sure you hone your skills as a drummer. So this is one skill you need. So spend as much time as you need on this section until you've got that skill down. Okay, that rhythmic independence. And something else to watch out for in that section is the length of the section as well. Okay, so it's 9 bars. So you get used to that 4 bar, 8 bar feel. Okay, and this one's just extended a little longer. Okay, so you've got that 2 bar groove, where 2 bar phrases played 4 times, and then you've got that extra bar there at the end of the section. So as well as it being syncopated, it's slightly longer than you'd normally feel. Okay, so just watch out for that as well. So let's try the pre-chorus in time with the backing track.
What's real? I can't you see me standing here? I got my back against the record machine. I ain't the worst that you see. I can't you see what I mean? You might as well jump. No.
So the pre-chorus takes us into the chorus, which starts at bar 34. So for the chorus, we go back to a standard rhythm, okay, a standard backbeat sound on that 2 and 4, snare drum on the 2 and the 4. So we've got a crash cymbal for a quarter on the 1 of the first bar of the chorus, bar 34, and another crash cymbal on the downbeat at 2. Okay, then we're back to our 8th note rhythm that we played in the verse. Okay, so 8th note's on the hi-hat there. So we've got quarter notes for 1 and 2 on crash, back to 8th notes on the 3 and the 4, and then in the next bar we're back to our 1 bar groove that we played in the verse, okay, that 8th note groove. Okay, so putting those 2 bars together just to hear those crashes on the downbeat of 1 and 2 in the first bar there. So we're going to play bars 34 and 35 now. And also you can see there's an accent above the crash on the downbeat of 2 in bar 34. So you want to hit that note with more emphasis, more force, more stress, okay, so it stands out, that note. Alright, so those two bars, 34 and 35, with the dynamics, that crashed accent on the downbeat 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you're really accentuating that backbeat on the 2 there in bar 34. And then after that bar in bar 35, we got 2 1-bar repeats. We played bar 35 another 2 times. That 1-bar groove, which is the main groove of the song. And then in the next line, we play exactly the same thing we just played in that previous line, that first line of the chorus. Okay, so the second line of the chorus is the same as the first line of the chorus. So you go back to that crash cymbal on the 1 and the 2. Make sure you accent the 2. And then we're back to the 8th note groove, okay? So let's try the chorus now, put that whole chorus together, the 8 bars of the chorus, bars 34 to 41. And now we'll try the chorus in time with the backing track. Okay, so like I said, keep it solid for this section. We just need to keep the groove, give the groove a good feel, make sure we're on the tempo, and just make sure that crash is popping out on that backbeat of 2 at the start of each line, okay? Because like I said before, they're hits with the rest of the band, so important to make sure they're really accentuated those 2 notes. All right, so let's try the chorus in time with the backing track.
You might as well jump.
And now we come into the next section, which starts at the top of the second page at bar 42, and this is the guitar solo. Okay, so we're back to another syncopated section here. Okay, so we've got another 2-bar groove for the syncopated section. We crash in on a downbeat of 1 for a quarter note into the groove, and then we've got quarter notes on the ride bell. So on the ride bell again, and we just got a standard quarter note rhythm with that right hand, that lead hand, okay? So the syncopation is happening around that quarter note subdivision on the ride bell. So we got bass drum on the downbeat of 1, snare drum on the downbeat of 2 for an 8th note, bass drum on that upbeat of 2, then we got a snare drum on the upbeat of 3, bass drum, downbeat of 4, and the upbeat of 4, that for 8th notes there. Okay, so that snare drum on the under 3 in an unexpected place, giving it a syncopated sound, this groove. So that bar 42 sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then the second bar of the groove, bar 43. Like I said before, ride bell continues for quarter notes, just hitting those downbeats. Then we've got an 8th note on the upbeat of 1 on the snare drum. Bass drums playing 2 8th notes on the 2. Then we got 8th note rest on 3, snare drum for a quarter on the upbeat of 3, bass drum on the upbeat of 4 for an 8th note. Okay, so again, notes in unexpected places, those 2 snares on the upbeat of 1 and the upbeat of 3, unexpected, okay, because they're off those downbeats, so it's an offbeat sound. Okay, so that bar 43 sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so like I said, that's a 2-bar groove. So once you get the grooves down individually, those bars down individually, you want to put it together to play the 2-bar groove. So bars 42 and 43 sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the 2-bar groove for this section. So once you got that down, you should be able to play the rest of the section. So in the next 2 bars, bars 44 and 45, you've got the same 2-bar groove there, but we just got a fill on the final beat of those 2 bars. So on the 4 of bar 45, we just play 16th notes on the floor tom, 40 and a. Okay, so just so you can hear those 2 bars. So like I said, same groove, just changing up at the end there with that 1 beat fill on the floor tom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then into the next line, you got the 2-bar groove there in bars 46 and 47, that same 2-bar groove. Okay, and it's a 2-bar groove, so we're crashing at the start of every 2 bars there to accentuate the start of the groove. So that's bars 46 and 47, and then we've got a 2-bar repeat, which means repeat bars 46 and 47, the 2-bar groove, okay? So we've got a 2-bar groove there in bars 42 and 43, the same 2-bar groove there in bars 44 and 45, just with the added 1-beat fill, and then we come back to that same 2-bar groove in bars 46 and 47, and then repeat the 2-bar groove for bars 48 and 49. Okay, so like I said, once you've got that 2-bar groove down, you just need to just keep that groove solid for this section. Okay, adding that little 1-beat fill in bar 45. Okay, so let's try the whole guitar solo now section, those 2 lines, bars 42 to 49. And now we'll try the guitar solo in time with the backing track. Okay, so just like the pre-chorus, we've got a syncopated groove here. Okay, so we need to make sure we've got we're playing that groove solidly. Okay, we're really solid with the rhythm where all the notes are going, and also the tempo. Okay, we're not straying away from that song tempo. So we need that skill of rhythmic independence for this section as well. So you're going to be hearing a guitar play a solo at a different rhythm to the syncopated groove. Okay, and the other instruments are going to be playing a different rhythm to us as well. So we need to make sure we're solid with the groove to the point where when we're hearing other instruments play different rhythms, it's not affecting our rhythm and our groove. Okay, so we need that rhythmic independence for the guitar solo too. Right, so let's try the guitar solo section now in time with the backing track. So solid groove. So now we come into the next section of the song, which is the keyboard solo, which starts at bar 50. So for this section, we got a 2-bar groove again. Okay, so we got a crash on the downbeat of 1. We hold that for a quarter note, and then we come down to the ride cymbal to play 8th notes. Okay, so we play 8th notes for the whole of the rest of the first bar. So that'd be 2 and 3 and 4, and we continue with the 8th notes into the second bar of the groove. So that'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and on the 4th beat, we just play a quarter note there on the 4. Okay, bass and snare drum rhythm, so we've got bass drum playing the 1 in the first bar, backbeat and snare on the 2, then we've got bass drum on the upbeat of 3, snare drum playing the 4, bass drum playing the upbeat of 1 in the second bar, snare drum playing backbeat on the 2, then we've got bass drum playing the upbeat of 3 again, and then it plays snare in time with the ride on the backbeat on the 4 again. As soon as we hit that backbeat, we come down to the floor tom to play 2 16th notes. So we've got a short half beat fill there at the end of the 2 bars. Okay, so those 2 bars, bars 50 and 51, the first 2 bars of the keyboard solo sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we come into the next 2 bars. So we're playing the same bar that we played in the first bar of the previous 2-bar groove, okay, in bar 52 there. So bar 52 is the same as bar 50. Okay, then in the second bar of that 2 bars, so bar 53, you've got that upbeat of 1 again, snare drum playing the 2 again, but we've got an 8th note on the upbeat of 2 on the bass drum. Okay, so another bass drum on the upbeat there. We hit the 3 on the ride cymbal, and then we've got a beat and a half fill, okay, starting on the end of 3. So we got 2 16th notes on the upbeat of 3 there on the medium tom, another 8th note on the medium tom and a downbeat of 4, and then 2 16th notes on the floor tom. Okay, so you've got and a 4 on the medium tom and a on the floor tom. Okay, so coming in on the and of 3, that little 1.5 beat fill is 1, 2, 3. So and a 4 and a. Just right, left, right, left. So that bar, actually let's play the 2 bars, okay, the whole 2-bar groove there. So bars 52 and 53, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we come into the next 2 bars, so a very similar thing. So we're playing the same groove that we played in bar 50 and 51, okay, so we haven't got that extra bass drum on the and of 2 of the second bar of the groove there that we did in the previous 2 bars. Okay, so we're back to the sound of the original 2 bars in bar 50 and 51. And then we've got another 1.5 beat fill in bar 55. We've got 2 16th notes on the upbeat, 3 again on the medium tom. Another 2 16th notes on the medium tom for the downbeat of 4, and then 2 16th notes on the upbeat of 4 on the floor tom. So you've got anda, 4E, anda for the rhythm of that fill. Again, you want to play that single strokes. So you just got 1, 2, 3. Okay, so playing the 2 bars now with the groove as well. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then the next 2 bars, again, similar thing. We're playing the same 2 bars that you played in bar 52 and 53, okay, the 2 bars above. Okay, so you got that same 1.5 beat fill again, and we got that extra bass drum on the end of 2 in the second bar of the groove there. Okay, so we got 4 lots of 2 bars there. We've got a 2 bar groove with a short fill at the end of each 2 bar phrase. Then looking at the next line of the keyboard solo, we've got slash notation. And again, you want to look at this as 2 bar phrases. Okay, we crashed there, so you got that crash there, so we need to make sure we hit that. So obviously slash notation gives us freedom to improvise, but we want to make sure we hit that crash at the start of each 2 bars. And it says cont sim, which is short for continua simile, which means continue in a similar way. So you want to continue with a similar groove that you played in the previous 2 lines. Okay, you can play the same groove if you want, but the slash notation gives you freedom to embellish the groove if you want to do that. Okay, and you can see also we got in the second bar of slash notation there, we've got 2 beats of slash notation, so we're carrying on playing the groove, the improvised groove for 2 beats. And above the final 2 beats of slash notation in bar 59, it says fill, so we want to play another fill, just like we've been doing in the previous 2 lines. Okay, so you're holding a groove for like 1.5 bars, and then you're playing a half bar fill. Okay, in the next 2 bars, we've got the same thing as those 2 bars, bars 58 and 59. And in the next 2 bars, again, you've got the same thing. So you just, same theme you played in the previous 2 lines, but now it's just giving you freedom to improvise. Okay, so you can embellish the groove a bit and play your own improvised fills. Okay, short fills. Then coming into the next line, it starts at bar 64. We've got another 1 bar of slash notation hitting that crash on the downbeat. All right. So make sure again you crash into the start of each 2 bars for the improvised section. And then in the second bar of that phrase there, bar 65, we've got quarter note triplets or crotchet triplets. Okay, so these are 3 evenly spaced notes over 2 beats. So you want to make sure you're comfortable with this rhythm, as this is the other technical focus element in this piece. Okay, playing these crotchet triplets correctly. Okay, so play them accurately, hitting each note in the right place so they're evenly spaced throughout the bar. Okay, so you got crash cymbal on the first quarter note triplet, then we got 2 high toms for the next 2 quarter note triplets, across the medium tom for the next 2 quarter note triplets, down to the floor tom for the final quarter note triplet. Okay, so remember, quarter note is the same as crotchet, so you can call these quarter note triplets or crotchet triplets. Okay, so evenly spaced 3 notes over 2 beats. So if this is your pulse, this rhythm is going to be da 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 da. Okay, so make sure you can feel that rhythm, hear it. Okay, so sing it against the pulse is always good. Da 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 da. So evenly spaced 3 notes over 2 beats. Okay, so crash with the right hand, right left on the 2 crotchet triplets on high tom, right left for the 2 crotchet triplets on medium tom, and then right hand on the floor tom there. Okay, you don't have to play that sticking, that's just the way I play it. And we've got that bass drum playing with the crash cymbal, okay, in unison. So that bar 65 sounds like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so putting it together with the previous bar 64, where you got 1 bar of improvised groove. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so quite a rhythm change from the 8th note groove that we've been playing in this section. So that's why it's a technical focus element. You want to make sure, again, your skill as a drummer, making sure you can change into these different rhythms, okay, comfortably. So you might find initially you kind of play it too fast as you go into the rhythm, then you need to slow down to correct it. So obviously you want to keep practicing it till you come right in on the 1 of bar 65 with the correct rhythm, okay, those crotchet triplets. Okay, so make sure you get it down. It's a technical focus element, and it's a skill you need as a drummer. Okay, you need to be confident with all of these rhythms. Okay, in the next 2 bars, you've got a crash cymbal with tremolo marks above them. Okay, so you're just gonna carry on hitting the crash sound for the whole duration of the cold note, and it's tied to another cold note there in the second bar, those 2 bars. So bars 66 and 67, you're crashing on the 1 with a bass drum, and you just want to keep that crash sound going for the whole 2 bars. Okay, so you can just play single strokes, tremoloing the crash. So those 2 bars, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then in the next bar, we've got a multi-bar rest with a 3 above it. So we rest for 3 bars. So you can see synth in brackets below that bar, so that's where the synthesizer comes back in, and we've got that same rhythm and sound that we had in the intro. Okay, so looking at the next bar, in bar 71, we've got that crash cymbal and the upbeat of 4 again that we had in bar 4 of the piece. Okay, in the next bar, bar 72, we've got the crash cymbal, so 8th notes on the 1, quarter note on 2, like we had in bar 5 of the piece. Okay, so that and 1 and 2 again, so left, right, just like we played in the intro. We've got a 2 bar rest there, just like we had in the intro again, and we've got that same fill that we played at the end of the intro to finish this keyboard solo section. Okay, so just to remind you how that sounds, so we'll play through that line, bar 71 to 75. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that familiar intro sound that we've already gone through, and like I said, that brings us to the end of the keyboard solo section. So 2 bar 8th note groove in this section with short fills, okay, and then we need to make sure we're comfortable with that rhythm change at the end of that 2 bar section where we hit those quarter note triplets or crotchet triplets. Make sure we're comfortable with that rhythm change, and that takes us into the crash cymbal, the tremolo crashes there, and then back to that intro sound. All right, so let's try the whole keyboard solo section. And now we'll try the keyboard solo in time with a backing track. And then the final section of the song is another chorus, which starts at bar 76. And for this chorus, we play exactly what we played for the previous chorus, okay, in the previous chorus. All right, we've just got an extra bar at the end. So once you played through the eight bars there, bars 76 to 83, the final bar, bar 84, we just got a crash on a downbeat of 1, 2 8th notes on the bass drum on the 1, and and then finish with the flam on the 2. Okay, so that last bar, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so again, left or right flam on the snare drum there. Okay, so let's try the final section of the song, that chorus. And now we'll try the chorus in time with the backing track. Okay, so you just got a 1 bar groove there, so just keep it really solid, stay on top of the tempo again, and just make sure you've got those 2 crash cymbal hits at the start of each line, those quarter note crash cymbal hits. Making sure you accent that 2, and that's really popping out in the groove because that's a band hit, okay? So really need to make sure you accentuate that 2 at the start of each line. Okay, nice clean finish with that flam, right on the 2. Let's try it with the backing track.
I might as well jump, jump. Well, go ahead and jump. Might as well jump, jump. Well, go ahead and jump. Get it in, jump, jump.
So now we've gone through each section. You just want to make sure you can transition from section to section. So you want to pick out 2 sections, okay? Make sure you can transition from the intro to the verse, then maybe from the verse to the pre-chorus, and the pre-chorus to the chorus to the guitar solo to the keyboard solo, and the keyboard solo to the final chorus, okay? Make sure you can transition between each section. Once you got that down, then we want to put the whole piece together, okay? So you really want to make sure that those syncopated sections in the pre-chorus and the guitar solo, you're rock solid with those syncopated sections, and make sure you can transition into them and out of them comfortably, okay? That's a really important skill. Make sure you got that rhythm down in bar 65, really clean crotchet triplets. Okay, so putting the whole song together, obviously the transitions, you need to make sure you've got between sections, but make sure you hold the energy of the song, okay? It's a fairly fast tempo, so you want to stay on top of that tempo, make sure you don't fall off or speed up, okay? Keep it really solid and make sure you just keep the energy of the song. So it stays at forte for the whole song. So nice and loud throughout. So make sure you're confident in every note you play all the notes with a lot of conviction. Okay, so let's try putting the whole piece together now at the song tempo, 126 beats per minute. And now we'll try the whole piece in time with the backing track. Okay, so like I said before, just make sure you hold the tempo. You're not slowing down or speeding up. You're keeping it really solid. You're comfortable with all the sections and also transitioning from section to section. Okay, you really want to hold the energy in this song. Okay, it's upbeat. Okay, so you want to portray that in your playing, and just make sure you stay at that 126 beats per minute and the dynamic of forte. Okay, so really hold this song together with a solid groove and nice flowing fills. Let's try the whole piece in time with the backing track.